Trump says that he has an agenda to make America great again. Yeah? No problem with that. Every leader wants to make his country great again. The problem is that Trump's understanding of greatness is crazy. His understanding of greatness is the ability to bomb other countries, to steal their resources and so on. That's not how countries become great. Countries become great by solving the problems that confront their people. That is not the concern of Trump. Indeed, on the streets of New York, on the streets of Washington, are homeless people. People who cannot eat, who eat from trash cans. People who go to soap kitchens to survive and so on. If he can solve those problems, he would make America great again. The path he has taken would not make America great again. It will make America a laughingstock of the world. You understand? Look, the fact of the matter is that the US dollar is no longer backed by gold. The US dollar used to be backed by gold. That is why it became the currency of preference for international trade. But for some time now, the US dollar is just mere paper, empty paper. It's not backed by anything. It's useless piece of paper. Okay. The US dollar continues to have relevance for international trade because of the concept of the petrodollar. The US entered an agreement with Saudi Arabia so that all Saudi oil is sold in dollars. And since every country buys petrol, it continues to maintain its relevance. Since then, the US has printed trillions of dollars which have no worth. Their only worth comes from the fact that it's the currency that you can use to buy oil. Now, that situation is changing. Now, Russia is selling its oil in yuan, not dollars. It's selling its oil in rupees, and so on. You understand? So, the dollar is in crisis. Venezuela has agreed to sell its oil in yuan, not dollars, to China, and also in rubles to Russia, and so on. So, that again puts pressure on the US currency, and the other examples that he mentions and so on. Now, the SWIFT system is no longer the only system for reference in international trade and so on. The Russians are developing their own system, the Chinese have developed their own system and so on. So the US is under threat. The US wants a situation where it can continue to just print paper without any value and use that for international trade and transfer its inflation to other countries. By so doing, it transfers its inflation to other countries like Ghana and so on. The inflation will suffer here. A lot of it is imported inflation from the United States and so on. So the US wants to maintain that order. And that is why it is misbehaving in Venezuela. But in addition to this, there is something else which is very, very, very significant. The US has refineries, you understand, oil refineries. Somehow, the US decided to build its refineries to process heavy crude oil, not light crude oil. Okay. Venezuela has the largest crude oil resources in the world, but it is heavy. You understand? The US can get its oil from Nigeria, it can get some from Saudi Arabia and so on. But that is sweet, light crude oil, which its refineries cannot efficiently process. So getting access to Venezuelan oil has become crucial for the survival of the US oil industry. That's all the problems we are suffering. That's why all of this is happening. The US recklessly built its refineries to process heavy crude because it believed that it will forever control Venezuela. That Venezuela will forever be under its thumb. You understand? The US has oil, but it's also light. It's not